Now we move on to al-Imam Ahmed Raza Khan rahimahullah ta'ala. And al-Imam Ahmed Raza Khan rahimahullah ta'ala has become a hero for those who love the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, and a person who is attacked by modernists. People who are modern do not like al-Imam Ahmed Raza Khan rahimahullah ta'ala. But even though they do not like him, we have to look at one thing here, is that they say regarding al-Imam Ahmed Raza Khan that he was a person who done takfir, meaning gave the fatwa, the verdict of the disbelief of the Deobandi ulama. They make it seem to the uninformed public that he gave this fatwa because he was such an ardent lover of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which made him overlook the rules of fatwa. Some people say this. So they say this in order to make the lovers of Imam Ahmed Raza Khan happy, because they admit that he was a lover of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But in reality, this is a sugar-coated insult. A sugar-coated insult. We must go back to the fatawa al-Imam Ahmed Raza Khan rahimahullah ta'ala, and I know for a fact that the writer of Iman Kufr and Takfir, the appalling article, shows that he does not have mutala'a, he has not looked at these works. The very last volume of Fatawa Ridawiyya, Al-Ataya Al-Nabawiyya fi Fatawa Ridawiyya, volume 30, it has many epistles in praise of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like Al-Amn wal-Ula, and other beautiful works in praise of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He has a work called Tamheed-e-Iman. In Urdu, Tamheed-e-Iman. In Arabic we'll say Tamheedul-Iman. But what he mentions here on page 353 is regarding the precaution he took before declaring anyone a kafir. The precaution he took before declaring anyone a kafir. I had also with me, which I forgot to bring, the maktubat of Imam Ahmed Raza Khan, the letters he wrote to those people who had insulted the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam for many years. But here he mentions, इससे ज़्यादा की हमें हाजत न थी, मगर बेफज़लिही ताला हम इनकी कज़्ज़ाबी कादा रोशन सबूत दे के हर मुसलमान पर उनका मुफ्तरी होना आफ्ताब से ज़्यादा ज़ाहिर हो जाए. सबूत बिहम्दिही ताला तहरीरी, वो भी छुपा हुआ, वो भी ना आज का बल्कि सालहा साल का, जिन की तकफीर का इत्तिहाम उलमाए अहले सुन्नत पर रखा, उनमें सबसे ज्यादा गुंजाइश अगर उन साहिबों को मिलती तो इस्माइल दहलवी में के बेशक उलमाए अहले सुन्नत ने उसके कलाम में बेकसरत कलिमात कुफरिया साबित किए और शायर फरमाए. And he mentioned this book Subhan al-Sabuh and Aibi Kid bin Maqbuh, which he wrote in the year 1309. In this passage, I want to highlight the passage. Al-Imam Ahmed Raza Khan mentions a few of his works. What year is it now? 1432. He wrote his book Al-Subhan al-Sabuh in the year 1309. And remember, the other mistake of the author of Iman Kufr and Takfir is that he says Al-Imam Ahmed Raza Khan did Takfir of Rashid Ahmed Gangohi based on the Imkan al-Kadhib issue. This is not true, and a blunder. The fatwa of kufr was given on wuqu' al-kidb. It was not given on imkan al-kadhib. So this is a major blunder. He makes another blunder when he translates. He says that al-Imam Ahmed Raza Khan rahimahullah ta'ala translated the term mustahil aradi, extrinsically impossible, as imkan al-kadhib, not knowing maybe what nuance this may carry in the Arabic language. This is also false. In Fatawa Rashidiyya, Rashid Ahmed Gangohi uses the term Imkan Kadhib himself. And we will go on to the fatwa which Darul Ulum Deoband has given. But Imam Ahmed Raza Khan says, he mentions his second work, Al-Kawkabatu Shihabiyya fi Kufriyati Abil Wahabiyya, which he wrote in 1312. He did not do takfir of the Salafis at that time, and neither did he do takfir of the Deobandis. He wrote this work in 1312. He wrote this work in 1312. Even though he says Kufriyati Abil Wahhabiyya, he quotes passages which consist of kufr, but he did not do takfir of the individual. He did not do takfir, declare as an apostate the individual. Then he wrote a third work which was written a year earlier, but he mentions it as third, Sallu Suyuf al-Hindiya ala Kufriyati Bab al-Najdiyya, the unsheathing of the Indian swords upon the disbelief of the old man of Najd. And he wrote this in the year 1311. Then, even in this work, he mentions very clearly that I took precaution and I did not do takfir of any Muslim. I did not declare any Muslim a disbeliever. But he pointed out their mistakes. Then he wrote a fourth work, Izalatul Ar بحجر الكرائم عن كلاب النار, written in 1316. He wrote this work in the year 1316. Then he wrote a fifth work. You can take these works now. He wrote a fifth work. He mentions the fifth work, and he says, even then, even in his work Subhan al-Sabuh, which he wrote on the topic of Imkan al-Kadhib, he did not declare the Deobandiyya as kuffar, as disbelievers. He compiled all of these, and then he says, Musalmano, ye roshan zair wadih, qahir ibarat tumhare pesh nazar mein hai, jinhe chupe hue 10 aur baaz ko 17 aur tasneef ko 19 saal hue. Basically, he says that these ibarat, these texts, have been around for some of them for 10 years. This is an expression meaning they have been around for 10 years. Some of them have been around for 17 years. And some of the statements have been around for 19 years. And during that period he wrote refutations of those statements, and he wrote letters to these people, but they did not reply to his letters, and neither did they clarify their position. So you have 10 years, 17 years and 19 years mentioned by al-Imam Ahmed Raza Khan in volume 30 and in other parts of his fatawa. But I did not want to bring too many books to bore people, but to give you an idea that there is a bigger picture to what is going on. So then al-Imam Ahmed Raza Khan rahimahullah ta'ala in the year 1320 wrote a commentary to a work of a previous scholar, a book known as Al-Mu'taqad Al-Muntaqad in Arabic, a nice text on Kalam. Ilm al-Kalam, the science of theology. He wrote a commentary called Al-Mustanad Al-Mu'tamad. And he wrote this in the year 1320. He wrote this in the year 1320, and he compiled the statement found in Hifz al-Iman and Tahdhir al-Nas and other works, and then presented this work to the ulama of the Haramain, who then applied the fatwa under the Deobandi scholars. This is the context. Now we go on to practical examples of what took place in the Indian subcontinent. Ismail al-Dahlawi wrote his notorious work, Taqwiyatul Iman. This is Taqwiyatul Iman, the old edition. The old edition. And al-Imam Ahmed Raza Khan rahimahullah ta'ala compiled the kufriyat of Ismail al-Dahlawi, which are found in this work. Over 70 kufriyat, but yet he did not do takfir of Ismail al-Dahlawi. He refused to do takfir. So we will not go into his kufriyat today, but he did have a passage in here, in this work, Sirat-e Mustaqim, where, look how many notes our brother Nabil has made on this book. How many points he has taken out. Where the statement regarding the Muslim praying in his prayer and he thinks of a donkey, his prayer is not invalid. But if he thinks of the best of creation, his prayer is invalid. Everyone has heard this statement. This is found in this book, Sirati Mustaqim, but yet al-Imam Ahmed Raza Khan rahimahullah ta'ala did not put a fatwa of kufr on him because he had passed away. And there was one possibility of him having done tawbah, repentance. But his contemporaries, like Fadl al-Haq rahimahullah ta'ala, did place a fatwa on him. But because of that one possibility, al-Imam Ahmed Raza Khan rahimahullah ta'ala did not place a fatwa of kufr on him. So the author of Imam Kufr and Takfir mentions the passage of Ad-Durr al-Mukhtar that if there is one possibility of Islam and 99 possibilities of kufr, we do not place a fatwa of kufr on him until it becomes clear as day. And we mentioned that al-Imam Ahmed Raza Khan rahimahullah ta'ala wrote against those people, but he did not place a fatwa on them until he wrote to them for 10 years, and some instances 17 years and 19 years. In another part of the fatawa, he mentions, I wrote letters to Ashraf Ali Thanwi for 14 years. And I have the maktubat of al-Imam Ahmed Raza Khan rahimahullah ta'ala, those very letters. You can get these letters also, you can buy them.